to gain access to the ballot. I think that the growing increase in acceptance of libertarian principles among people, the willingness of people to demand more libertarian policies, I think it will force the older parties, the legacy parties, if you will, to essentially accommodate us. One of the big issues, of course, is access to the debates. The Libertarian Party has several candidates running, and we have Mr. Sarvis running for the United States Senate. He has 7 candidates for the United States House of Representatives. Most of these candidates are not being invited to debates, even though I think by any reasonable standards, these libertarian candidates should be invited. They qualify as being serious candidates whom the voters should have the opportunity to hear in debates. But the Democrats and Republicans have a very strong interest in keeping not just libertarians, it's not just the libertarians, it's basically anybody who's not a Democrat or Republican off the ballot, out of the debates. I think the Libertarian Party, we first of all have to put forward good candidates. I think it's our job to come up with people who would be good candidates, the sort of people that you would look at and say, even if I don't agree with this candidate on some of his advances, this person is a person of substance who would make a good city councilman or a good congressman or a good senator or a good president. I think we also have to do a better job of asking our friends and neighbors to demand more inclusion in terms of the ballot. We need to change the Commonwealth to gain access to the ballot. We need to make it easier to form and recognize third parties. It's very difficult for a political organization other than Republicans to be officially recognized as a political party in the Commonwealth of Virginia. There are only 2 officially recognized political parties in Virginia, the Democrats and the Republicans, because in order to become an officially recognized political party, you have to have had a candidate at the statewide level in one of the 2 most recent statewide elections who received at least 10% of the vote. That is a very difficult barrier for any third party to achieve, and there's no particularly good reason that I'm aware of that says it should be that